Greetings all you maniacs of minds on our grinds, and welcome back to another Warframe's Ins and Outs. I haven't done one of these in quite a while, and today we're going to be talking about Nyx, a frame that honestly could really use a rework, but I don't think she needs a rework as bad as, say, Hydroid or Frost. Anyway, let's go over the build first, and then I'm going to talk about her abilities. So, this is a zero forma build. Just basically it fulfills most of her needs, if not all of them. And when I go over her abilities, you'll see why. And also her 4 is missing because I don't like her 4. I know it could be made to make her invincible and you can move around and all that with an augment, but that's very boring. I'd much rather have pillage. So giving her some actual sustainable, easy to use survivability in my opinion, because shield gating is very good, and pillage removes status effects. So if you're worried about toxin, you just press 4 with pillage on and, well, the toxin goes away. Same thing for any status effect. Anyway, so let's talk about our abilities. So, mind control. You mind fuck an enemy, make them your minion, and depending on how much damage you do to them while they're being, mind fucked, that's how much damage they'll do. It multiplies, and they can do good damage, but the problem, their AI is awful. If it was like Spectre AI, I would have no problem, because the Spectres are actually, they have decent AI. Same thing with Wukong's clone. Same thing with Equinox's clone. Hell, even like the defense operatives that you rescue from rescue missions and all that, they have way better AI because they're not using enemy AI. So her 2 I think is very powerful, but I do have problems with it. All it really does is decrease the enemy's defense, but it gets rid of shields completely and armor completely if you have enough power strength. That is about 145%. Something like that, about 145. I could be a little bit off, but it doesn't really matter. You can only fire 6 bolts, which is lame. However, these bolts will remove armor from basically anything in the game with some exceptions. The exceptions being the Corpus and Kuva Liches. They will not have all their armor reduced. They'll have their shields gone, but they won't have their armor completely removed, unfortunately. However, their minions, including those annoying dogs, will have their armor and shields completely removed. The bosses will have their armor and shields completely removed, including the Plague Star boss. Armor completely gone. But it only lasts, for so long, and you kind of have to kill all the enemies, and then you can recast it again, or maybe they change that. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect enough targets. If you could hold the ability key and then send out a wave that removes all armor and shields for maybe half the duration, I'd be fine with that, because that would really, really help. Chaos is basically, just think of it like radiation, of what radiation does with its status effect. It just makes everyone fight each other. So, and pillage is pillage from Hildren. I'm not going to really talk about her 4 because it just makes her invincible and you can explode doing damage. But whatever. Anyway, so let me actually show the effects of her 1. So you see the mind control up there has that much. I'm actually going to have to disable the AI. We'll actually enable the AI. Well, you're stupid. Get out of my face. So I'm going to have to redo it, so. What in the fuck happened there? Is it just broken in the simulacrum? No, it's not. You also have to remember how dumb the AI are in this game. So a cool thing about it, though, if you use her one on the same enemy again, they'll take all the damage that they received in one go, so it will kill them. Um, Also, her two is super self-explanatory. So 6 targets, all their armor, everything is gone, and this scales to any level because it's a percentage. So that's very helpful, but it only lasts for so long, which is kind of unfortunate. It also does just decrease their movement speed a little bit, but you see that already went away. So that's cool. And her 3 just makes them like basically radiation procced to where they attack their friends. So before I go into a normal mission, because I do not like playing her in Steel Path, I'm going to just say something. I don't absolutely despise Nyx. I find her very helpful in a number of situations. Say like the Plague Star event, I used her a lot there. I would proc the Plague Star boss with my 2, and then jump into my Void Rig and deal damage that way, and that was very effective. Or have a Titania do it. But other than that, other than her helping taking down big bosses that can actually be affected by abilities, because not all of them can. If you could remove all the armor and shields off of Eidolons, that'd be cool, but you're not allowed to do that because Eidolons are good content. Not. She is a very niche. She's very niche, and that's a little bit unfortunate because when I think of someone that has the ability of like psychic powers, there's so much you can do with it. And all she really is a mild crowd controller and a debuffer. DE, that's kind of lame. I'm not talking like make her like able to, well, I kind of want her. I kind of want her to be like this mind god that can't just, infiltrate the enemy's brain, because that doesn't matter because they don't have brains anyway. I don't know what Nyx is controlling because there's something up there. It's just 2 acorns inside of a shell. So if she had like the ability of telekinesis and, able to bend metal and all this other really cool stuff, instead of making her a mind freak, have her mind able to do telekinetic powers. That'd be awesome. But I don't know. I don't know. So we're going to go into a normal mission, and yeah, I'm just going to do a Grenadier Disruption because she can, in fact, affect the Demolist. So we will go and do that. Oh, and if you're curious, can she affect the Acolyte? I think she can remove their armor and shields. I just don't know because I'm not willing to try that. Because, again, I do not like playing Nyx in the Steel Path. Everywhere else, though, I don't really mind. So let me actually just get a minion here. Not that it's going to help too much. Okay. So he's going to be doing 1,200% more damage. And actually, don't get me wrong. The minions can actually deal pretty good damage. It's just the AI is so stupid. And yeah, obviously just freaking, like, getting rid of their armor. That's always kind of nice to do, yeah. Especially against, big bosses or bosses that can actually, have their armor removed. Like the, like Lephantis, which is the same boss in Plague Star. You can absolutely just remove all of his armor, and it's great. So if you have Nyx plus a Titania in Razorwing, Plague Star is just, it's melt. The Lephantis just sort of gets obliterated. So I can remove all your armor, and yeah. And keep in mind, the Sea-Doo does not have status chance, really, and it needs elements on the enemy to get really, really powerful. But without any armor, none of that matters. And there's no real reason why I'm using the Sea-Doo. I just really like it. Also, I haven't been playing this game too much. I've mostly been on I've been playing Payday 2 again a little bit, and playing Halo Infinite, and don't know if you guys know, but oh wow, balls are after me. Fucking great. Gunfire Reborn is 1.0 now. It's full released, and that is awesome to see because that game is real cool. Yeah, but keep in mind, with any ability against Demolists, the pulse that they have will disable the abilities. So don't get too surprised if you remove their armor, then they get all their armor back, because that's how that works. These rollers don't do shit. Also, type it out Prime. It's real cool. Also, keep in mind, Pillage does remove some armor. But it's not, like, super important. Oh yeah, I have Arcane Tempo on her, I forgot. So that's neat. I'm used to playing squishy frames, so I did not mean to do that. So yeah, if she ever gets like a full-blown rework, I would really love to see her be able to like manipulate the enemies in real like super powerful ways, or some cool shit like that, like rip panels off of the ground and send it hurling towards enemies, that kind of telekinetic mindfuckery, because that'd be cool. But I don't know if DE will ever do that. I will say though, when it comes to frames that could use a rework. Wow, fucking rare container? Cool. That's hard with that. Cool. I wish this was on a void tile set, because then I would have a Forma. DE, give us disruption in the void, please, so we don't have to do bounties for the specific relics. Please. Pretty please. Wrong way. But yeah, Hydroid and Frost definitely need reworks more than Nyx. Frost isn't like, he's not unplayable. He's functional. He works in quite a lot of scenarios. He can remove armor. He's actually pretty damn good at crowd controlling. But he's old. He's very, very old. Didn't he come out like what, 2014, 2015? He's old. And Hydroid, all he does is loot, and that's unfortunate, because I think Hydroid Prime's cool as hell looking, but I also wish he was more of a waterbender, but that's just me. We don't need to make him like Rain from Mortal Kombat, but it'd be cool if he was. Anyway, that's Nyx. Nyx she's good. Overall, she is functional, especially if you know what you're doing with her. You can really, really help the team in a number of ways, especially if you're doing like Kuva Lich hunting, especially Corpus Sisters of Parvos, because those dogs have quite a lot of shields and armor, and she can just turn those off and then they become nothing. So that's helpful. But she doesn't do enough. She really, really should be this telekinetic beast, but she isn't. Taking over your opponent's mind is cool in concept, but in Warframe, it doesn't really work very well because the enemies basically have no brain. If the AI that you controlled actually got like severe, massive, ridiculous buffs, like the ability to spread the affliction to other enemies, that's Wait, no, that's Revenant. Um, or the ability to take elements from your weapon and put it onto their gun if they got the ability, something. If they were actually smart and actually buffed Nyx in a way, like giving her damage reduction or making her abilities even more powerful, using them as a conduit, that'd be cool. But it's it's just rather unfortunate. I don't think she's bad. She isn't. In my opinion, there's no bad frames in this game. Every single one can clear the star chart, can do steel path, can, do everything in the game that you could ever want except for eidolons and all that niche crap. But as a frame that is literally designed to use mind powers, she doesn't use them in a very effective way. So if DE were to rework her, I would love to see her become this telekinetic beast. Lift enemies off the ground, rip their armor off, turn it into shrapnel to shred enemies, really use telekinesis in a very devastating way. We might get a frame like that eventually, but I think that frame should be Nyx. It shouldn't be a new frame, it should be Nyx. But that's just my personal opinion. If they want to give us a telekinetic frame that isn't Nyx and just keep Nyx as this mindfucker, that's fine. But I don't know. She doesn't 100% need a rework yet. I would honestly say for DE to prioritize Hydroid or Frost first. But because they really need help, Hydroid the most. But that's just my personal opinion. Overall, though, the niche that she fills is fine. Removing armor is always a good thing. Removing shields is always a good thing, especially for really thick shields. And, she's fine. But she should be so much more. She should be so much more. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, in Trilby, we trust.